Love often begins quietly, like the hush before a storm. In the spring of 2025, Vanessa Paradis sat in a Paris studio, sunlight trembling through the blinds, and reflected on 14 years with Johnny Depp. When asked to describe their relationship in one sentence, she paused, then whispered, "Devastating." It wasn't bitterness that lingered in her voice, only exhaustion. She had loved deeply, unconditionally, and over time had realized that love could consume, erode, and transform, leaving even the strongest hearts weary. This was the story of a love both beautiful and impossible to endure indefinitely. First encounters in Paris. Johnny Depp, restless and solitary, met Vanessa Paradis in 1998 at a hotel along the Seine. She wore black, unassuming yet luminous. He noticed her back before she turned, and in that small movement, something inside him stilled. The chaos of Hollywood, the parties, applause, and endless demands, fell away in her presence. Vanessa offered calm, not fascination. He followed her to France, exchanging red carpets for cobblestones, chaos for quiet mornings. Their love began as a haven, a private universe where two artists could flourish, laugh, and build a family away from the glare of public scrutiny, creating a sanctuary out of simplicity and trust. A love without boundaries. Vanessa and Johnny never married, a choice that became a quiet rebellion. Their bond was unbranded, unannounced, and deliberate. They created a home filled with music, children, laughter, and the everyday intimacy that celebrities rarely experience. Vanessa built stability, tending to their world as one would a garden, while Johnny chased inspiration and intensity. At first, differences complemented one another. She gave roots, he gave fire. Their love was a delicate balance between groundedness and adventure. Yet beneath the serenity lay an undercurrent of fatigue, a tension between stability and restlessness, a quiet warning of the storms to come that would test the limits of endurance, the poetry of shared life. In private, their lives resembled art itself. Coffee mornings, children's drawings taped to kitchen walls, melodies drifting from late-night sessions. Johnny admired Vanessa's constancy. She saved him in ways no one else could. Vanessa, in turn, watched him transform pain into performance, knowing the genius behind the volatility. Their home was both haven and battlefield, a space where love and creativity intertwined but also exposed differences. Friends noted the fierce protection of privacy, not as strategy but survival. Fame threatened intimacy, so they locked the doors of their sanctuary. Yet even in this cocoon, the imbalance between the storm chaser and the lighthouse quietly deepened. The calm and the storm. At first, the contrasts between them seemed complementary. Vanessa nurtured steadiness. Johnny embodied unpredictability. She tended the world they shared. He pursued adventures that often pulled him away. Over time, the roles became harder to sustain. One became the lighthouse, always watching. The other, the ship, chasing storms. Fatigue grew, unnoticed at first. Even the most patient love can wear thin when one person consistently carries the weight of safety while the other seeks freedom. Johnny's relentless drive, insomnia, and need for intensity demanded presence, while Vanessa's constancy required restraint. This silent struggle was the real story behind the love that seemed so effortless to outsiders: creativity and solitude. Vanessa often wrote music alone, her lyrics echoing both tenderness and endurance. Sometimes she left notes on the piano, messages for him to find, delicate warnings woven in song. "You sleep in the shadows. I keep watch in the light," she wrote. Johnny, meanwhile, poured himself into films, seeking the edge that confirmed life. Friends noticed the invisible choreography of their world. She building walls of protection, he testing the boundaries. The patterns repeated. Intense projects, private solitude, and unspoken tension. Love persisted, yes, but survival became the language of their days. The safe harbor and the restless tide coexisted uneasily, each reliant on the other, yet pulled in opposite directions. Love and fatigue. By 2011, the accumulation of missed moments began to weigh. There was no anger, only erosion. Birthdays passed, nights apart lengthened, promises deferred. Vanessa recognized the man she loved was the same man who needed to escape into chaos to feel alive. She stayed longer than most would, believing endurance was the truest measure of love. She knew Johnny was not cruel, only haunted by shadows that fame could never dispel. Over time, patience alone could not repair the foundation. She realized she could not rebuild the house faster than the storms returned. Love became survival, and survival demanded a quiet courage she could not ignore. The quiet goodbye. There was no dramatic confrontation. One morning, Johnny returned to the kitchen, barefoot and exhausted. They stood facing each other, years of unsaid words filling the space. "I don't want to hurt you," he murmured. "You're not," she replied softly. "You're just being you." It was the moment she had been waiting for. A silent acknowledgement that the love that had sheltered them both was now beyond repair. She opened the window, breathed in the smell of wet earth, and listened as their son's laughter floated outside. That sound healed what had been quietly breaking between them, marking the real farewell. The storm described years later. Vanessa described the love in words both poetic and precise. "He loved me like a storm, and I was too tired to keep rebuilding." Each word acknowledged the natural cycle of passion and exhaustion. She did not accuse. She observed. The storm was not a failure, nor was it his fault. Her fatigue was not weakness, but survival. The truth they lived was complicated. Love can be consuming and transformative without lasting forever. Understanding this, she found freedom in distance, clarity in release, and a profound grace in accepting that some storms, no matter how magnificent, must eventually pass, the legacy of their love. Even after separation, the years they shared remained alive in memory, music, and art. Vanessa no longer spoke of pain, only seasons. "Arrive like summer," she once said. "They warm you, change you, then go." She remembered Johnny not as someone who broke her, but as someone who taught endurance and the necessity of release. Johnny's art continued to carry traces of her steadiness, each performance whispering the echo of a love that shaped him. Their story became a quiet legend in Hollywood, a reminder that love can be transformative, luminous, and finite, without demanding permanence or ceremony to prove its significance. Conclusion. Beyond the storm. Their love was not a tragedy, nor a scandal. It was a weather pattern, wild, consuming, and finite. Both survived, not unscathed, but alive. Love, they demonstrated, is not always about surviving together. It is about knowing when to step out of the rain. Some loves awaken the soul rather than last forever. Vanessa and Johnny carried each other's influence quietly, a testament to endurance and grace. In the end, peace existed in distance, and clarity in release. The storm passed, leaving behind not heartbreak, but a clear sky, memory, and the profound knowledge that some loves are meant to teach, not endure.